All right, good morning, everyone. Before we get started, we'll go ahead and have our Linguistica team give you a few information before our presentation.
Thank you. Hola, muy buenos días a todos y bienvenidos. Esta junta tendrá interpretación simultánea disponible en español. Para poder acceder a la interpretación, cuando se ha aprendido la función, buscar el icono de un mundo abajo de su pantalla si está utilizando una computadora y luego seleccionará español. Si está utilizando una tableta o un teléfono, el proceso será diferente. Buscarán los 3 puntos en su pantalla que digan More o Más en español. Deslizarán en el menú de opciones hacia donde dice Interpretación. Luego seleccionarán Español, una vez más silenciar el lado original y cuando han acabado arriba de la pantalla habrá un botón que diga Listo, Done o Finalizar. Selecciónenlo para poder escuchar en español. Good morning, everyone. We will have simultaneous interpretation for today's meeting. In order to access interpretation, once the function has been turned on, you'll look for the globe-like icon at the bottom of your screen if you're using a computer or a desktop, and then you'll go ahead and select English. If you're using a cell phone or a tablet, the process is a bit different. You'll look for the 3 dots that appear on your screen. Once again, once this function has been turned on, there'll be an option to go into interpretation. You'll select interpretation and then you'll select English. And a very crucial final step we do not want to miss is to select done or finalize at the top of your screen. That way you are entered in the English channel in case anybody makes any Spanish comments. Thank you so much. And Catherine, whenever you're ready, you can turn it on.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this informational meeting for the Car Sharing Emissions Reduction Program in the Shafter AB 617 community. My name is Charlene. I'm an air quality specialist for the district. Joining me today is Catherine, a senior air quality specialist, Jeff, another senior air quality specialist, and David, the supervisor for the program. At the end of the presentation today, we will allow time for comments and take any questions. If you have any questions during the presentation, you can go ahead and drop those into the chat box, and we will be happy to answer those questions for you. Assembly Bill 617 does require that CARB, which is the California Air Resource Board, and air districts work together to help reduce air pollution, exposure, and disadvantaged communities. Some of the ways that those are done is through emissions reporting, monitoring, reduction plans, and emission reduction measures. The Car Sharing Emissions Reduction Program is part of the California Climate Investments. It is a statewide initiative that puts billions of cap and trade dollars to work by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It also helps with strengthening the economy and improves public health and environment, especially in disadvantaged communities. The goal of this program is to fund the deployment of electric vehicles, install electric vehicle supply equipment, which will be the chargers for the electric vehicles, reduce emissions from passenger vehicles by launching this electric car share program. AB 617 does provide several mechanisms and resources and invests in substantial funding in the community through voluntary incentive funding measures. If you go to the valley.air.org website, you will be able to click on the AB 617 communities and Shafter, and you'll be able to see all those measures that the community has put into place. These measures are guided by the shared experience and knowledge of the community members of Shafter, and through their input and involvement on the steering committees for each of the AB 617 selected communities. Program benefits. The goal of this program is to reduce emissions from passenger vehicles. The way that's going to be done is we're going to launch an electric car sharing program in the Shafter community. The program will offer access to electric vehicles with a minimal cost to the user. It also allows residents to become familiar with advanced clean technologies. The program will also allow for residents to help reduce the use of gas-powered vehicles, and that helps with the reduction of ozone-forming emissions. We've received great support from the Shafter community. Their engagement is an important part to continue to develop the CERP program. The district staff has been able to meet routinely with the committee members. Those are the community steering committee members and the subcommittee for car sharing. The measure has been discussed in detail at the CSC meetings and has received great support from the Shafter CSC. Program funding. The car sharing program does allow up to $500,000 for funding. We ask that each applicant apply with all state and federal conflict of interest laws that apply to them, disclose any additional funding sources, indicate if their organization has applied for or will be applying for additional sources for the project, disclose the value of any current financial incentives, either by tax credits, deductions of other public financial assistance that will directly reduce the cost of this program. The contract period, we do ask for a commitment of a minimum of 3 years. Once we have the commitment, we do ask that the project is launched within 1 year of the executed grant date. The operation is considered launched when the participants use the service. Before the selected applicant launches the program, we do ask that they notify the district in advance. They can fill out a notice to launch service form. Once the district receives that form, they will receive a notice to launch confirmation and then can go ahead and launch the program. We're going to spend a couple of minutes on the next couple of slides to discuss eligibility for all the applicants and this on the criteria that the applicants must meet. So we ask that they are currently operating a rideshare program or partnering with someone that has a carpool or van pool, and the business is located in the state of California. We ask that they have expertise with e-mobility services within San Joaquin Valley. We ask that they have expertise in starting similar projects and working with districts, transit agencies, or other stakeholders. And we also would like them to demonstrate any expertise in completing the task required by this project. We do ask for a 3-year commitment for the contract. Also, we would like the selected applicant to have an established web-based or phone application system that helps riders make reservations and conduct payments. For those riders that prefer to speak in person, we do ask that the applicant provide a telephone-based service where reservations could be made person to person. We also ask that the applicant provide customer service. For assistance during the reservation, we would like them to offer roadside assistance, vehicle operational questions, and charging questions and issues for the riders. Applicants must apply with all local, state, and federal rules and regulations, have the ability to establish a secure web-based safe parking environment within the Shafter AB 617 boundary, and agree to apply to all requirements and general provisions with this RFP. They must show proof of regulatory compliance and any operating permits, maintain equipment during the contract period, comply with all the district requirements during the contract period, such as monitoring and reporting. And if it applies, ensure that permits stay up to date and obtain any permits necessary. We also ask that the applicant during the contract period make the project available to inspections either by the district or the California Air Resource Board. Project eligibility was determined by a model after the California Clean Mobility Operations CMO Voucher Pilot Program. There is a link on this slide that shows the document. So you're able to click on that link and read some of the criteria that we use. We have outlined some of the criteria, and that is applicant and sub-applicant eligibility, project eligibility, of course, focusing on car sharing and ride-on-demand categories, eligible cost for the project, including equipment, community outreach, administration, and other costs, participant eligibility and responsibility for the vehicle drivers and passengers. And once again, all projects must be located in the Shafter community boundaries and meet all of the eligibility requirements. Next, we're going to talk about eligible costs for the project. The electric vehicles must be within the Shafter community. The site of the chargers must be located within a 7-mile radius from the center of the city of Shafter. Insurance is an eligible cost, equipment operations and maintenance, ride subsidies, contracted services, labor and construction cost. We also cover outreach and marketing materials, design and permitting, software implementation and maintenance, direct project administration and management. We do have a 15% for the project administration. We also allow up to a 10% for contingency costs that weren't budgeted. And of course, 100% of the eligible costs will be covered. Some of the costs that will not be covered for the contractor are overhead. Example of that would be utilities, office equipment or supplies, and fuel and electricity. Here we've provided a map just to kind of show you where the Shafter community boundary is and the 7-mile radius in the geographic location. The project evaluation process, once the district receives all the applications, they will score the projects. The district will go ahead and rank the proposals, and then the applicants will be notified, and then the selected applicant will be offered a contract. So the scoring criteria for the ranking of the proposal, 20 points will be allowed for applicant qualifications and project team capabilities, 20 points for project budget, 15 points for project implementation plan, 15 points for project readiness, 15 points for outreach and education, 5 points for provision of data collection and handling confidential information. And then we have 10 points for emissions, estimated emissions reductions. Emission reductions, we have a model that we use, the Clean Mobility Quantification Methodology. The link is there. You can open that link and see the information. But some of the highlights are, for the emission reductions would be the consideration, the number of vehicles associated with the project, average number of trips per vehicle, average riders per vehicle, estimated length of average vehicle trip, and other relevant information. As part of the application, we do ask that they calculate emission reductions. We do provide a benefits calculator, and it is with the Clean Mobility Options Voucher Pilot. So if you click on that link, you'll be able to see the calculator. It is a spreadsheet. Once you put all the required information in, the good news, it does calculate and do the math for you. We do have a user guide that will help you get through that process, and Catherine is go ahead and drop the information into the chat box for you. So the next slide, it just talks about required documents. After the application, we have provided a checklist so the applicant can go through the checklist and make sure that they have all the required documents. The first thing that we do ask for is that the application is completed completely. We ask that no fields are left blank. If one of the questions does not apply to the applicant, we ask that the applicant mark NA. If some of the questions need additional room to answer, we do allow the applicant to use a separate document, but we are asking the applicant to make sure that the numbering matches the document and the contact information is on the document and the number and question coincide with the application questions. We also ask for complete certification form. We ask for only the first page of the W-9. It does have 4 pages, but we only need the first page. We do ask for the resolution from the authority, signing authority for the project, and then also the completed benefits calculator from the Clean Mobility Options Voucher Program. And the link is provided again. We are going to ask for prepared quotes for the itemized budgets for the projects. And then also lastly, photographs of the project where the cars will be parked. You can use online resources for the project or any type of site plans to submit with the project. So the program process is as follows. You go ahead and submit a completed application. Once the district receives those completed applications, they review the documents and make a determination. A contract would be offered to either the selected applicants or applicant. Once that happens, we will start the implementation process, start with the reimbursement process, and then project maintenance. We do have a schedule. August 7th, we did release the request for proposal, which is the RFP. Today, we are having our informational meeting. The RFP does close September 29th at 2023 at 5 p.m. That is a Friday. After the RFP closes, we are allowing about 90 days to review all the proposal and make a final selection. For RFP submittal and contact information, Catherine Tao will be the contact person. She's the air quality specialist. Her contact information is on the slide, including the phone number and her email address. At this time, I want to thank you guys for joining us today, and we would like to open the floor for any comments or questions.
Hi, good morning. It looks like we have Gloria Huerta who has a question.
Yes, hello, Gloria Huerta with Mio Car. I had a question about the vehicle procurement process. We are currently recipients of different CMOs, and I was just wondering if, since this is going to be modeled after the CMO, would we, if selected and with us dealing with dealerships, would we be able to set up a direct vendor payment so that we have the air district submitting the payment directly to the dealership for vehicle procurement, or would that be the responsibility for the operator?
As far as the way the program is written right now, it is a reimbursement process. So the partners that we'll be working with, you would be making the payments. However, if there are any concerns or questions regarding the payment process, feel free to reach out to us and we can look further into that.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, we want to thank everybody for attending our meeting today. And if you have any further questions or comments, feel free to submit them to the contact information on our page here. We are more than welcome to either email me or give me a call, and we will be happy to address your questions and concerns. Again, our RFP closes on September 29th. And this concludes our meeting for today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.